Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is Friday, May 31st, and we're here with robot and nonsense stories to end the week on the L1 show.
Now we'll start out with, once again, how many times have we seen a tech company negotiate with someone to buy something, get turned down, and then just steal it?
A lot.
It's constant, actually.
And they never get away. Well, I guess they probably do get away with it. Right?
They get away with it enough.
And it does get them a lot of headlines.
The OpenAI says the Sky voice in ChatGPT will be paused after concerns that it sounds too much like Scarlett Johansson.
Who they met with.
Her lawyers must be incredible because they've beaten Disney.
Yeah.
If I got a call from Scarlett Johansson's lawyer, I'd probably just jump off a bridge.
So she was also, I've never seen have you seen the movie where she's the AI?
Her, I think, is the name of it.
But they liked that, I guess.
He literally tweeted her after they announced they were doing the voice. I mean, it wasn't subtle at all.
Yeah, OpenAI, for their part of it, they seem to be working in such a vacuum. They did actually hire another actress. There was a sound-alike for the voice, like the way that ScarJo played her in her movie, I guess. But that's probably going to be really damning in the lawsuit, too, because it's like, well, we couldn't get ScarJo, so your job is to impersonate ScarJo. And it's like,
Also, I tweeted her, which is like, come on.
Well, I mean, that's the character, though. Like, she's playing a character in the movie, and it's like, we want somebody to play the same kind of character. And it's just like, I don't know.
Did you get into a copyright situation there, though?
Maybe.
Again, I would bet on her lawyers over his.
Her lawyers, and also, like, the movie. Like, if you own the rights to the movie, it's like, do you own the right? Like, who owns the right to that character?
Do you think there's anybody at OpenAI whose job it is to, like, look at this kind of thing and be like, guys, this is a bad idea. We shouldn't do this. You know, maybe do they have, like, I don't know, a risk team?
OpenAI's long-term AI risk team has disbanded. We reported last week that there was kind of an exodus of a lot of people from OpenAI, and there was the anti-disparagement clause drama, and the long-term AI risk team has also, like, they've left. There's a lot of interesting and strange things coming out of this.
This co-founder guy was the leader of the team, and he famously walked away because he was tired of everybody else getting the glory, and he was doing all the work. Didn't have a lot of control.
Didn't he just say you want to do something more meaningful? He didn't say all that. But.
Well, like Wendell mentioned, there was some anti-disparagement clauses in his contract.
Maybe he's just going to go start a farm somewhere.
But
go live on a farm.
OpenAI continues to gobble up all of the content on the internet so that they can one day replace it all with AI.
OpenAI and Wall Street Journal owner News Corp signed a content deal. They're going to use a lot of the Wall Street Journal back catalog and archives to train OpenAI.
Not just the Wall Street Journal; they own several newspapers.
We should collect a lot of footage. We should collect a lot of out of copyright newspaper data. I think that was an Internet Archive sub-project, and train our own AI on that, and so we'll have a really old-timey sounding AI.
Well, that AI's vocabulary would be completely beyond the modern generation. And we have some more interesting things from the Microsoft developer thing, or what do they call their conference? I don't remember.
Build or I/O or something.
But these were more AI specific, so we didn't put them in the other sections.
PC World, they noticed Microsoft Edge will dub streamed video with AI translated audio. So this is just going to be built into Edge. You're watching a video on Edge, and it's going to do it for you.
Not enough to entice me to use Edge, but nice try.
These fellas ain't speaking Spanish, but you can hear it in Spanish. Maybe in ScarJo's voice.
We are going to have the Babelfish translator, which is interesting.
I previewed the story. Here, I would rework this headline, and I would say, how can you get teachers to train their AI replacement?
Microsoft and Khan Academy provide free AI assistant for all educators in the U.S. It doesn't look like that kid's doing Common Core math. The teacher's going to get the death penalty.
You think about, because they always were, the teachers were like, you can't use a calculator because that's too much of a crutch. What is AI going to do to the math education?
To any education, really.
But with math in particular, AI is going to be able to solve it perfectly. And it's going to be able to explain itself. In the old math homework was like, you got to show your work because I don't trust you. AI can show the work.
Teenage me would have loved that because I was not great at math at that age.
Yeah, as a kid, having something that was able to instantly answer all of my questions would have really hurt my ability to focus on anything for any given period of time, but it would have really helped my understanding of the universe.
Well, it's the internet.
But see, we've had that. And every generation has had more of that. But it has not increased their understanding of the universe.
If anything, it's gotten worse.
It's made them addicted to TikTok.
Yeah. Less likely to question whatever the thing spits out for you.
And Microsoft is revamping even the most core applications of Windows. Everything must have AI.
Microsoft Paint is getting an AI-powered image generator that responds to your text prompts and doodles. So it's like you just draw this. It's like, make this look real. It's okay. Here you go.
The point of Microsoft Paint is opening it, moving the brush around, and then filling in random holes. That's all you use Microsoft Paint for.
Wait, what?
You never did that as a kid?
I don't understand what
So
you're
you take the brush and then like you drag it all over the canvas until it makes like a bunch of like different like holes or whatever, and then you just fill in those holes randomly with the paint bucket tool.
Before the snip tool, Microsoft Paint was for pasting your screenshots.
Oh yeah, I've done that too.
Well,
now it's whatever that is for AI stuff, I guess.
Well, I'm sure the snipping tool will have AI enhancements soon, right? But will we reach general intelligence? What we have is pretty incredible, but it's also kind of fake a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, like, can we go from here to there? One man has an opinion.
Meta AI head ChatGPT will never reach human intelligence. But don't worry, I'm working on this other thing over here that will definitely reach human intelligence.
No, mine's way better, dude.
Meanwhile, some human intelligence is a pretty low bar. Like, we're going to have to shoot a lot higher than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think I don't think we're going to get truly, like, we're not going to get consciousness, but we are going to get something that is basically indistinguishable from general artificial intelligence sooner than we think. And it's probably going to be one of those multimodal approaches where it's like, okay, the language model is doing an engagement, and it's like, okay, I recognize this is a physics problem, and then I'm not going to solve a physics problem with a basically what is a statistical model. Let's go over this other model that's designed to solve math problems.
Now, when it comes to the OpenAI line goes up, we've been on the part of the roller coaster where the chain is dragging you up. And remember when all you had to do was just put AI in your startup and you would immediately get money?
That chain is powered by lots of money.
And what happens when you get to the top and the wheat gets separated from the chaff and just having AI in your name isn't enough anymore?
Humane AI is reportedly looking for a buyer just weeks after its disastrous wearables launch. So that's Rabbit AI and Humane AI both down because they haven't demonstrated any more capabilities than just an app on your phone, as we predicted.
And the economy took a bit of a turn during that time as well. And another one falls. It seems that everything on the internet will soon be feeding OpenAI.
User outcry as Slack scrapes customer data for AI model training. So if you use Slack for your internal corporate stuff, they're just going to slurp all that up and feed it to a model, because of course they are.
How do you opt out? You don't.
It's got like you email us this manual process that they're definitely just sort of not lackadaisically.
A dark pattern, you mean?
Yeah, it's just so bad.
If you're wondering why the world is as bad as it is, and why every time when you look at the news, it's just like, X number dead, new invasions, Taiwan is being encircled, what powers all of this? Well, it's this.
The Guardian's headline is, "I'm the new Oppenheimer, my soul-destroying day at Palantir's first ever AI warfare conference."
I like your reading of that first line. Like, he sounds kind of chipper about it.
Well, if you read the description, yeah, he was kind of like, oh, I just had a thought. Look at me. Imagine, so this was, during this presentation, all of the big players from the defense industry and the government and AI were on the stage together. What if a super tornado would have just what would
that would have been great.
What would the world look like after that?
So that's definitely confirmation that a non-human intelligence is not monitoring us to shape our culture.
Or maybe they like that. That's the worst one, right? That's the darkest timeline. And Mr. Elon Musk, we all know, is the richest man in the world. Is he still number one, I think?
He's one or two, I think.
But that's not enough. Never enough. We must keep adding more to his riches.
The Electrek headline is Elon Musk confirms his threat. Give me 25% of Tesla or you don't get AI and robotics. There's a lot to unpack here. So the threat is, like, he basically said, if I can 10x Tesla, give me $50 billion. He did 10x Tesla. He really did. But they don't want to give him the $50 billion. So this is the compensation package. And then he started, firing people and laying them off to, money and that sort of stuff. I don't know if this is true or not, but you know how like the superchargers team and some of the other research people, apparently one of the engineers that, historically would stand up to him and get him to back down, stood up and said, no, I need all of my engineers. I need everybody. This whole department, no more layoffs. Like everybody has to stay. I can't get rid of anybody else. Everybody has to stay. And that's the one where he got rid of everybody. So this that is happening here is partly retaliation for not getting his $50 billion, which I think is still up in the air. Isn't it? Did they vote on that yet?
I don't remember. It might be. I'm sure he can appeal it.
He's supposed to, if he 10x's Tesla, he's supposed to get $50 billion. Nobody expected him to 10x Tesla, but he did.
It was Delaware. The state of Delaware, because you incorporate Delaware, which is another ridiculous corporate thing that they do. They were like, no, we're not going to let you do this. So I think he reincorporated in Texas, right?
Yeah. So it's weird. It's a weird threat, but what he's saying is Tesla is going, like other automakers are going to catch up to Tesla. We're not going to make as much money doing Tesla things the way that we did. Where we can make a lot of money is AI and robotics, but you're going to have to give me some leeway to do that. And is that a threat? Maybe.
I'm ashamed to say, I'm not ashamed, but I'm shocked to say, because a couple of weeks ago, I agreed with the World Economic Forum president. Today, I agree with Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell opposes a bill to ban the use of deceptive AI to influence elections.
Yeah. Think about the deepfake story we did about the cheerleaders. Was that last week?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All they have to do is just say it's a deepfake, cause a controversy, just ride it out. And then when it comes out that it wasn't deepfake, no one cares. There's no update later on. So this would be abused terribly. This is just censorship. Do
you think he understands any of that, though? Realistically?
I don't know. I think probably he's just mostly just thinking about like watermelon.
When he's getting his new turtle, his turtle pellets.
Lettuce. This is something that makes sense. And they did offer one interesting argument that I didn't think about here.
Electric cars more likely to hit pedestrians than internal combustion vehicles, the study finds. The
I didn't want to say the British word, petrol.
The obvious argument is they're quieter, but the non-obvious argument is that they're self-driving?
No, younger crowd.
Oh, younger.
Mm-hmm.
Universally, it's a lot younger driver in an electric vehicle, less experience. Although at the extreme end of that, old people you think would push it the other way.
I don't know. I've seen an elderly person take out a bicyclist from campus, like over the hood, and the elderly lady that got out of the car was so upset that the bicyclist was like, "No, it's cool. We don't need to call the police. It's fine." So,
well, I mean, being remorseful about it doesn't make it better.
No, I mean, she was freaking out to the extent that it was just like
that the person who got hit by the car was like, I need to calm this person down.
Yeah, it's like, it's cool. I just rolled over the hood. Look at that. I'm fine. It's probably not the adrenaline.
Now, think about this unexpected twist to the statistics that we're going to see in 6 months from now. What if I told you that you're homeless and your life is kind of terrible, and one way that you could immediately get out of that poverty would be hit this $8 million lottery? All you got to do is just toss yourself down in front of one of these.
GM's Cruise pays more than $8 million to a pedestrian run over and dragged by a robotaxi.
That's like the urban legend at every campus that was like, if your roommate dies, if they get hit on campus, then you get free tuition. And so everyone would always pretend to throw their roommate out in the street.
Our version was that you get straight A's.
Oh, ours was pay tuition, which maybe tells you something about the economic reality of university in just a short 10 years' time.
And this is possibly the harbinger of the full collapse of our economy and universal basic income and our lives being controlled top down.
This is Volvo's production-ready, fully autonomous Class 8 truck.
Level 4.
It's going to go between warehouses and everything else. It is closed circuit. You can't drive arbitrary places.
If you get dragged by one of those, I bet you get like 30 million. Although your survivability rate would probably be
much lower.
And this is hilarious because this is definitely the great value Atlas. Atlas was the name of that Boston Dynamics one, right? But he is cheap.
Ars Technica headline is you can buy a 4-foot-tall humanoid robot for $16,000.
L1 reviews.
I dug into it, and it's not fabulous. That's the hands optional model. So
Hands optional.
yeah, it's not
Look
fabulous.
how he packs up so well.
The software, there's no software, and this article really says a lot of things that are mocking, which is reasonable, I think. I think that what you need to do is you need to look, like whoever designed this robot, you need to look up the 1992 made-for-TV movie for the Sci-Fi Channel called Homewrecker. And what they did was they installed a track throughout the house that had a bunch of robotic arms mounted on it. And so it's just an arm hanging down from the ceiling. I think that is probably a much better approach. Although, as memory serves, I don't think that you get the robotic arms in the house until like 49 minutes through the video. But or through the movie, but that's how you should do it. If you could buy this for $16,000 and it could navigate the kitchen and like make food, like make delicious food, that would be not a terrible deal.
They pointed out, so they did demos in the video you could watch. Its cooking demo was that it had a piece of bread in a pan. It was able to flip it and clumsily flop it onto a plate. But that was the extent of what it could do.
And it doesn't, it's like, oh, is this a really amazing advanced software SDK? And the answer is no.
If you do all the prep work, it might be able to make French toast. Maybe.
In which case, it's like I should just do this myself
It is,
save the $16K.
I can visualize though with where we are now, like with the like if you had good hardware for the hand and everything else, I could visualize a future where like you're wearing the Apple VR headset and you've got it would need some more camera gear in its head. And so it is a first person, you are the robot. And as the robot, you use your arms, its hands and your with Apple tracking stuff. So you control the robot and you do that a few times to train the robot on how to do things. And then that is the basis of the training for the AI that does, you're cooking and I'm going to go to the fridge and pull the door open and get the eggs out. And
there's so many variables to control that for there though. Like,
wow, there's so many large language model. I mean, it seems perfect for that kind of
I put the
approach.
eggs in a slightly different place and it has no idea where they are. Or, oh, the eggs are rotten, but I didn't know to check for that because you do a smell test or something. Like,
there's also no chance that model could pick up an egg without destroying it.
Yeah. It's hands
The hands are
optional. It's just got sticks. It can't. What are you going to do? But, in Amazon, when you wear the wrist thing in Amazon, it's getting a lot of that data. It's capturing the data. It's being trained by the people that are wearing the little sensor thing.
Are you saying they're training their replacements?
Yeah, they really are.
Well,
at scale.
Let's juxtapose the crappy Kirkland signature horrible robot that no one really wants with unlimited DARPA funding robot.
Robot dogs armed with AI-aimed rifles undergo U.S. Marines Special Ops evaluation.
They're very quick to point out they can't pull the trigger unless an actual human being does it. But target tracking and all that, and like actually following people around, that's all autonomous.
They're literally aimbotting.
Nah.
They've got wall hacks.
That's a terrifying reality. Remember when people were laughing at the idea of like, oh, what if they put guns on those dog robots?
I know, that was like 2 years ago.
Also, the cheapest dog robots you can get, the True Value ones, those are only $1,600.
Well, when it comes to spaceflight, that's getting cheap, but really only for the one company. Everybody else is still kind of struggling.
Blue Origin launches 6 tourists to the edge of space after a nearly 2-year hiatus. These are the first astronauts that are not government or something?
Trained, yeah.
Still sticking with the old penis rockets, I see.
It really is. Like, I mean, there's phallic and then there's phallic. And
This fellow was 90 years old. They say that's the record for the age at that height. But how old was Shatner when he went?
he was pretty old.
I think he was like 92.
I thought he was older than 90, right? Maybe not. Maybe was that time compression? Did he do that like 5 years ago?
I don't know. The chat will engage below.
I remember
Let us know.
Bezos cutting him off and not letting him finish his thought, which was kind of like, Sad.
Well, if you get a black hole story, we have to include it. And this one's an interesting one because when the black hole does get you, Krista, it's a question of how long you're going to spend spinning around it before you go down the drain.
And I get spaghettified.
Study proves black holes have a plunging region, just as Einstein predicted.
I think you start to spaghettify long before you get that close.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. But it turns out they have a really cool illustration of it here. So, like, when you're in the spiral, light can still escape. And then when you get to the point where you start to go down, light can still escape. And then that's the event horizon. And then no one ever hears from you again.
God, that's so interesting. The call of the void, literally.
Oh, I thought we had 2 black hole stories. Maybe not. Let's move on to medical horror, which is exactly what this is. The hilarious thing here, they studied humans and dogs. Results were the same.
Microplastics found in every human testicle in a study. This is in The Guardian. There's only 23 people
Yeah,
in the
it's
study.
a small sample size.
But, yeah, there's microplastics everywhere. So, first it was, what was it? Leaded gasoline? No, lead in the water pipes. And then leaded gasoline. Microplastics.
Remember microbeads?
Yeah.
Yeah, to wash your... That's actually banned now.
Yeah.
I know, but for a while
That
was
was
an
just like, yeah,
upsell.
to
It's like,
scrub your face.
not only that, you paid more for it.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, give me some plastics to scrub against
I
myself.
could just use like, an exfoliant, like a natural one like sand, but...
That's horrific, but if it slows down fertility rates, it might not be the worst thing. And it seems that the world is now becoming addicted to a new substance, which is weight loss drugs. Semaglutide, is that the name of it? Something like that. Anyway, you used to have to get a prescription.
Another online pharmacy bypasses the FDA offer to cut rate weight loss drugs. So they're just going to sell them online. It's like, doesn't the FDA need to check these? Yeah, don't worry about it.
This is not the popular ones. These are like one molecule different knockoffs, but they presumably have the same effect. And instead of $1,000 a month, they're only going to cost you $200 a month. Which still seems like a lot to pay for the rest of your life, because it only works if you keep taking it. Now, you might be saying to yourself, wow, all this darkness, you know what? Why don't you just put me down and wake me up in 70 years? And let's see where all this AI stuff is going. Well, good news.
New technique to freeze brain tissue without harm. They figured out how to freeze it and unfreeze it so that no crystals form, but the cell is definitely frozen and not consuming oxygen and not dying. Also, in the footnotes or the comments on this article, or at least the place where I read it, there was a link to, some of those people that were cryogenically frozen.
Okay, they had to like scraped off the bottom of their pods or something.
Yeah,
it was very graphic.
Turns out that some of those people liquefied.
Yeah. And their care was not done well. Because it turns out when someone makes a contract and it's like 50 years later, the other people are going to be like, yeah, we don't really care about that anymore. We didn't benefit from this, so why would we care? But here's something that we might all be able to benefit from once we are horribly wounded by self-driving cars.
Non-invasive zaps to the spinal cord can treat paralysis, but no one knows why. These were people that have spinal column injuries, and they're getting electrical stimulation, but it's actually giving them some more functionality.
In my inner monologue research, have you ever read about hypnotic placebo?
Describe it.
Like, they just convince you that you're not in pain and you're not anymore. And no one knows how it works.
Interesting.
There's a thing I've read about, I don't know how true it is, where it's like if someone had like lost their hand or something in like combat, they did the thing where they put like the mirror down. I don't know. I don't remember all the details. I'll have to look it up and send it to you later.
Yeah, but it's wild. Like, your body can just turn off
Yeah.
sensations, but your consciousness can't, which is crazy because it's like, how much control am I in? Not as much as this man, because he has literally reintroduced, with no self-consciousness or sarcasm, the idea of divine right to rule.
The Prime Minister Narendra Modi convinced convinced to be emissary of God, questions his biological origins. Okay.
So some reporter asked him where he gets his energy from. I think energy in this context has a different meaning.
Understanding, yeah.
But he was like, yeah, I've thought about that myself because it can't be that I was birthed from a human, considering I have all this energy inside of me. It must have been something else.
Fabulous.
He says he's been called on by God to fix everything, which is weird because he's had a while to do that.
Yeah.
He's been in power, yeah.
Doesn't seem fixed. And things in Pittsburgh probably won't be getting any better either. And if you're a victim of crime in Pittsburgh, which seems to be a pretty good chance, you might not want to call the cops.
Pittsburgh Police candidates allowed to retake their psychological evaluations after dozens failed. Yeah, second, it's like, just retry. It's good. It's fine.
Just be better today.
You'll be more sane on the second attempt, right?
Better at hiding it, maybe.
Need some more coaching.
The people on the other side are claiming that this is just an overzealous psychologist. Although I don't know if it was the same psychologist every time. But we do need police to have like a baseline level of sanity, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
'Cause you're gonna-
Ability to handle conflict appropriately
Stress.
seems important.
Yeah. Be able to take the high road when there's, you're taking a lot of verbal abuse and stuff like that. Seems alarming. And the entertainment world is certainly going to change, right? AI, I don't think we can really imagine what AI is going to do to that. You can kind of see it, but it'll probably take a turn that no one's expecting. But Apple is trying to get in front of that financially.
Apple TV wants to pay actors based on how many people watch their movies. Is that just how much money it makes with more steps?
But remember the famous Hollywood accounting.
Yeah, can't you just view? If I was an actor, I'd pay a view bot. I mean, there's ways around that.
There are many actors who famously have spoken out about having iconic roles. I think the dude inside the Darth Vader suit was the most popular one, right?
Oh, yeah.
He said he never saw anything from those movies in terms of residuals because they did that crazy accounting. Even when they did the remasters, they shuffled the money around in a way that screwed all the actors. I mean, actors do get paid a lot. It's hard to feel bad for some of them, but I'm sure there's a fair way of doing it, and I'm sure that Apple is not interested in that way.
Yeah, not even a little.
And here's a crazy callback, and you got to respect this girl's acumen when it comes to marketing, because she was smart enough to not complain about it, because she knew that she got more value from the press than anything that she would get from the actual water.
She sold her bathwater and PayPal took her profits. This is Belle Delphine revealed that her infamous 2019 stunt netted her $90,000 in profits, but that PayPal confiscated it before finally returning the funds earlier this month. Wow, that was 5 years ago. So she's been fighting for this for a while.
That was 5 years ago, and what, like 20% inflation?
And lawyer fees?
She should have gotten a lot more than $90K. There's opportunity costs there. And the mayor of New York, once again embarrassed. He can't seem to go a week.
The mayor, New York City Mayor Adams, is looking at the possibility of revoking Diddy's key to the New York City. I don't know.
Do those do anything? Like,
Yeah, he was saying it's like it doesn't. Is there a process? We don't know. We've never done this before.
I think they do give you like some little perks, right? Like there's certain things you could probably get for free. Not that any of that's going to matter.
are there
to
hidden
Diddy.
chests around New York that it unlocks?
That'd be great.
He's
wouldn't it?
Loot boxes?
This is the same individual who's currently on the lam for crime.
No, I don't think he's been charged with anything yet.
I'm not sure.
He's been
Wanted for questioning, but he's in an unextraditable country.
No, I think the feds, they raided his house, but I don't think it's gone past that. But what happened last week was someone released a video of him just beating the crap out of his girlfriend in a hotel.
That's disappointing.
Like just out in the open too, which was weird.
Yeah, and a lot of people have turned on him based on that.
Fabulous.
He doesn't seem like a great guy. And this does not seem like a great gal, despite her, connections with the supernatural.
The headline is very strange. Witch 42 stalked wizard and controlled what he ate, drank, and wore, according to UK News. So this
We
is
just call that abuse, right? Like,
this is a guy that lived somewhere that was apparently owned by his uncle. And
I got the impression that he had money himself. Right?
well, she convinced his uncle that he'd gone senile and that she was his caretaker, and so like his uncle changed the will or something. And
No, I think that guy changed the will.
I don't know. Well, anyway, she was arrested for elder abuse, basically, but she's out on. I don't know. It's a complicated story, but
But they met up through their joint love of magic.
their joint love of the occult.
Well, you hear about this a lot. The most recent one I can think of was Richard Simmons. Remember him? Where he had a housekeeper who just kind of like took over because he was old and couldn't do things for himself anymore. Sad. Sad that their love of the darkness wasn't really enough to
Hold them together.
To bridge the gap.
their love of money. You know what? Money is thicker than Satan.
As we know.
And as Wendell has discovered, the homeless can be a bit of a problem. They could be a real headache.
Stop signs to replace some Oakland traffic lights to deter copper theft. Yeah.
That's like an Eastern Kentucky story.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is a four-way stop now instead of stoplights because we keep replacing the stoplights and they
They
keep being
go away.
stolen.
I don't think I remember to add this story. No. Did you see that the homeless people have figured out that the absolute treasure trove source of copper? EV chargers.
Oh.
Yeah. Somebody stole all the Tesla cables.
Like just that cable from the nozzle.
Yeah,
And how many pounds is that?
it's a lot of copper.
Of pure copper. Yeah. And criminals get more and more creative. And now this is sort of like crime as a service.
Hundreds paid to be robbed by phony holdup crews to gain favorable immigration status, the feds say. So the robbers would rob them, and then you can apply for a special visa, a special victim of crime visa, and get extended stay in America.
But there was not enough trigger discipline. And somebody squeezed one off and actually hit one of them. So it got investigated much deeper.
It was a shop owner. And this is Chicago because, like, wow, Chicago always impresses me with how corrupt it is. Like, I thought New York was bad. It's like, no, Chicago ain't got nothing on New York.
Oh, yeah. Chicago's a whole different world. And this is not the first time we've seen stories like this, which they point out in this story, and they wonder if this is an increasing thing. Are we going to see a whole wave of youth all of a sudden in love with their cars?
The nonsense headline is a Korean man spotted having sex with a pink Tesla. And the Tesla always has, okay. Ooh.
So there's a couple of surveillance shots here.
Yeah.
Why did they?
You can't just put that on there. We're going to get demonetized.
Why did they blank out his eyes? This is a different offender, different car.
It's, what's wrong with
That is
humans?
What color pink would you call that? That's a nice pink.
A millennial pink, a dusty rose.
Wonder what that cost. That's a wrap, not paint. Man, how many times do you guys break open a snack, getting ready to enjoy that delicious sugar addiction, and think to yourself, wait a minute, this doesn't look exactly like it did on the wrapper, and you just throw it in the trash?
Every day.
Obviously.
A lawsuit accuses Hershey of using deceptive packaging on Reese's products. So basically, if you buy one of these, it's like, oh, this is a metal. It doesn't look like the packaging because somebody carved intricate stuff into the. It doesn't come like that.
Yeah,
It just,
any Reese's thing, it's always just like a lump of chocolate and peanut butter. It's never quite the shape it's supposed to be.
I think by law that should not be allowed to be called peanut butter.
It doesn't bother me. But this is not the first time this has happened. Other people in the past have sued for the same thing when they do like the Christmas trees and the bats and Halloween and stuff. Apparently those also have more detail on the package than they do.
Like, of all the things to worry about packaging wise, what annoys me more is when it's like a package that has like a window to show you part of the thing, but then when you open it, like everything's just on that one side and then it's empty on the other.
You ever seen the ones where it's a pizza and it's a whole pizza in there, but only the part under the window has toppings?
Yeah, and it's like, come on.
That's so good. But now if they were to lose this lawsuit, don't you think that every fast food restaurant would be in trouble?
Yeah.
Because nothing looks like it does on the menu. It just looks like a slurry of
So
those
bad.
ingredients. And it's been a while. I guess it's been like 20 some years. Oh, no, they killed him much later.
Yeah.
But it has been a while since we've thought about this man, and apparently this is also a brilliant marketing tactic.
The headline is Osama Bin Lager. Beer sells out after going viral.
So this is part of a series of dictator ales.
Kim Jong Ale. I don't know if it's Dictator Ale because they've also got Winston Church Pale.
So just, politicians
A
in
pale
general, I
ale.
guess.
Well, I don't know if he's part of the dictator group. They've probably got like different series. I don't know. He made some bad decisions.
It's a very kind way of putting it.
And elephants versus trains. That's not a good situation for the elephant or the train.
I'd bet on the train.
What's the solution?
Tamil Nadu. These elephants are dying on rail tracks. Can AI save them? Basically, they have cameras on the rail tracks, but no one's paying attention to the cameras. So now they're putting AI on the cameras to say, ooh, that looks like an elephant on the rail track. We need to warn people. We need to warn the train operators.
That's a cool.
Can you imagine trying to
Application.
stay focused on that all day long? Just staring at
Looking
empty
for an
tracks?
elephant, yeah.
But I mean, 90% of the time, probably 99% of the time, nothing's happening.
It'd be like having a deer cam out here.
But they have lost, they have killed a lot of elephants. And it's hard on the trains, too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Think about hitting a deer.
Could they do so I know in some places, I don't know how common it is even here, like they'll do like wildlife overpasses where it's like to connect two sides of a forest.
Because this is India. They're not even putting overpasses for the people.
Yeah.
And here is a warning of what not to do when you're out enjoying nature.
Man is fined after trying to, quote unquote, body slam a killer whale.
That's a bold dude.
This is in New Zealand. It's like, oh, look, it's an orca. And the orca and her calf were just not really sure what to do.
He's lucky they weren't sure what to do.
But the New Zealand people were saying the orca could have just snapped you in half like a twig.
I mean, that does have to be confusing. It's kind of like, imagine that you're just walking through the woods and a butterfly just comes after you.
Yeah, it's like,
What are
just swat it and kill it immediately. Like,
A lot of people were upset about this too.
He was fined $350.
They do not like it when you disrespect the whales.
they are cool animals.
And when you are in another part of the world, it's not the whales you have to worry about. We have to worry about the deer, but we don't have this problem.
Ambulance collides with a moose while responding to another moose collision. According to the Ottawa Police Precinct. Is that what that was?
I've always heard a different definition of OPP. And I have made a mental note to go to check out these videos later. I didn't have time to watch them all, but I'm definitely going to go back and check these out.
Cats playing with robots proves a winning combo in a new novel art installation.
I believe that one there is Ghostbuster. I can tell you, though, from experience that the cats know when it's automated and they lose interest.
Mm-hmm.
Automated laser, automated feather, you got the little butterfly that spins around. They'll attack it a little bit, but then they're like, no, you have to participate. So I wonder, it seems like the robot was able to trick them in this situation.
Maybe it was randomized enough that it felt realistic.
They describe how it would go and like select a toy. They would give it a job. It's like, today you have to engage with this cat. And it would try to think like, okay, what toy does this cat want?
Mm.
Which is interesting.
Today, Cricket decided that the bell on the back of the door was his favorite thing to play with. We've had it there for months, and today he decided, yeah, I'm finally going to play with that.
What? You mean like a business has, so you know when people open the door?
No, so like at Christmas time, my mother-in-law wraps presents with like bells around them, and I saved one of them and just looped it over the door. So I was like, oh, Cricket will love to play with that, and he's never touched it before today.
That seems like it might get a little annoying.
It's on a door that's not closed and opened often.
Well,
But I heard it jingling this morning.
how old is Cricket? Cricket's like, what, 2, 3 years old?
3, I think.
What are your plans for his higher education?
Oh, I don't have any because it's expensive. He'll have to make his own way to college.
Wow.
I don't think he's going to get in.
That's not fair.
Master of Litters. A cat named Max given an honorary degree in literature by a U.S. university. Vermont State.
Oh, get the paywall.
Oh.
They had a picture of his diploma. Max doesn't live on the campus. He actually is one of these cats who lives nearby and just ventures over every day.
And wanders, yeah.
They talked about how the strays on the campus do not care for him. And he gets beaten severely sometimes, but he keeps coming back.
How come they didn't give the other cats? Because they're bullies, or?
Yeah, I guess they're discriminating against the homeless cats, right?
Yeah.
This cat, they said that this cat was also the best one for catching mice. It was always over there to just catch mice and carry them away.
They're saving the unit. He's saving the university hundreds of dollars.
We had cats on our college campus, but they were not friendly. I could never befriend them. I think some people abused them.
There was one that hung out around our dorm, and my friend, we were on the ground floor. She would open her dorm window and let the cat in at night.
Oh, that's cool.
She wasn't supposed to do that, but it was fine. No one knew.
It could spread vermin and disease, I suppose.
Yeah, but
yeah,
it was cute and
I would
cuddly.
be tempted.
Yeah. It was fat, though. I'm pretty sure everyone was feeding it.
That's how it goes. There's a lot of food on a college campus
Yeah.
that can be given to a cat. All right, well, that's it for May.
We will see you guys in June.
June is coming. I'm at Computex now, so you should look for all the Computex footage and watch and engage and look for oddly timed live streams. I don't know.
Keep up with that PLA Twitter. They're probably not allowed to use Twitter, right?
Yeah. That'll be quite the international incident given the number of international visitors.
What a great time, though, if you wanted to get yourself some hostages. I mean, that would be an escalation that they're probably not willing to do.
But I was reading that that's like, right now is when the sea is calm as well, which might be why they're doing these drills. Hopefully just drills.
No, it's because of the president.
Well, yeah, that's part of it, but also the sea.
You think that the Communist Party, if the military was like, I don't know, there's high seas today, maybe we can't do your bidding, and they'd be like, yes, you will.
Well,
I don't care if you
that's
all drown.
Anyway,
Dark.
we'll end on that dark note. Goodbye!